They say musicians bring joy wherever they go. But for one woman, her music opened the gates of terror. This is the true story of Nora, the Kuwaiti singer who walked into a wedding and discovered the guests were not human. It was supposed to be her week of rest. Nora, a beloved singer and drummer, had just finished a long run of events. Her voice needed a break. So when the phone rang that afternoon, she almost ignored it. But the caller was insistent. They wanted her to perform at a wedding that very night. Nora declined politely. She was tired. But the voice on the other end, smooth, persuasive, raised the offer. Double her usual fee, then triple. Enough money to tempt even the most reluctant musician. Against her better judgment, she said yes. After all, what's the worst that could happen at a wedding? That evening, Nora and her two bandmates climbed into a car and followed the directions. The city lights faded into darkness. The roads grew quieter, narrower. At last, they reached a large, silent, and beautiful mansion on the edge of the desert. Its windows were dark. No laughter, no music, no guests outside. Just silence. The host appeared suddenly, a tall man, with an expression that never changed. His smile was forced, his eyes distant. Without a word of warmth, he led them in. The hall they entered was dim, lit with weak yellow lamps. Guests sat quietly on the floor, faces blurred by shadows. The women wore heavy veils. Their greetings were strange, too formal, too rehearsed, as though copied from memory. Still, the band set up. The host urged them to begin. So Nora lifted her drum. The rhythm echoed through the hall, and slowly, the guests began to move. At first, it looked like dancing. But the longer she watched, the more wrong it became. Their bodies twisted at impossible angles. Their feet didn't touch the ground. Some clapped, but the sound was hollow, empty, like striking wood. In the middle of the performance, one of Nora's singers suddenly froze, her eyes locked beneath a guest gown. What she saw made her collapse instantly, a goat's leg where a human foot should be. Panic rippled, but Nora quickly rushed to her, assuring the other guests it was nothing. When the bandmate regained consciousness, Nora whispered sharply, "I know you just saw what I have seen," with fear trembling in her voice. "I saw it too, the goat's leg. These are not humans. But if we want to leave alive, we must keep playing, as if nothing happened." They returned back to their instrument and continued to play like nothing was seen to avoid suspicion. Nora whispered, "Keep playing. Don't stop." Her voice trembled with fear. At last, the music stopped. Silence swallowed the room. Then the host clapped once, and the bride and groom entered. The bride wore shimmering white, her face hidden, but her movements were unnatural, stiff, as though bones cracked beneath her steps. The groom was worse. His face was obscured, features shifting, eyes reflecting red when the light caught them. Nora's blood ran cold. She realized then these were no humans. As they reached their thrones, the lights suddenly flickered, then died. The room fell into complete darkness. In the chaos, Nora grabbed her bandmates. They didn't think, they didn't look back. They ran. Instruments crashed to the ground. Voices echoed behind them, low, guttural laughs, in languages no human could understand. Something chased them through the hall, brushing at their necks, pulling at their clothes. But they burst through the front door into the night. They didn't stop running until their lungs burned. But the moment they finally escaped and stumbled outside, they turned back, only to see that the grand mansion had vanished. In its place stood a decayed, abandoned house, swallowed by weeds and darkness. The reality hit them. They had been playing for something not of this world. In the distance, headlights appeared. A lone driver slowed down, staring at them in shock. When they told him they had been hired to sing at the mansion, his face turned pale. He shook his head. "That place," he whispered. "That house has been abandoned for over 20 years." Nora never sang again. She left music behind, haunted by the memory of that night, haunted by the eyes that glowed in the dark, the twisted dancers, the bride and groom who weren't human. In many cultures, jinn are said to live among us, watching, waiting, even celebrating their own weddings. Perhaps Nora's gift of music drew her into their world. Perhaps she was simply chosen. What's certain is this: when you perform for the unseen, the applause may follow you forever. This is Dark Hours, where echoes linger, and the stories you thought were fictional are more real than you believe. Subscribe if you dare face what hides in the darkness.